Welcome to the Security and Auth module. In this video, we are covering the OAuth2 Password Flow, the standard pattern for issuing access tokens from a username and password login. By the end, you will know exactly how FastAPI models this flow, what each piece does, and when you should or should not reach for it. Imagine you have 10 endpoints that require a logged-in user. Without a standard approach, you end up copying credential reading code into every route, each slightly different, each a potential security bug. On top of that, your API clients have no standard way to know where to send credentials, and your auto-generated docs are useless for testing auth. That friction is the problem OAuth2 Password Flow solves. Think of a concert venue. You prove your identity once at the entrance, get a wristband, and from then on every door just checks the wristband, not your ID. In OAuth2 Password Flow, your login endpoint is the gate, the access token is the wristband, and every protected API route is a door that only checks the wristband. Credentials travel once, the token travels everywhere after that. FastAPI breaks this flow into clear named pieces. First, OAuth2 Password Bearer is a callable you create once. It tells FastAPI where the token endpoint lives and that requests should carry a bearer token in the authorization header. Second, you write a /token endpoint that accepts an OAuth2 password request form, verifies the user, and returns an access token. Third, any protected route declares depends of your OAuth2 scheme to receive the raw token string, which you then validate. Line by line, we import OAuth2 password bearer and OAuth2 password request form from FastAPI.security. We then create OAuth2 scheme by calling OAuth2 password bearer with token URL set to the string token. This registers the bearer scheme and points Swagger UI at our login endpoint. The /token route takes an OAuth2 password request form via depends, which makes FastAPI pass the incoming form body for username and password fields. We check the credentials against our fake database and return a token Pydantic model. Finally, the /me route declares token as a string with depends of OAuth2 scheme. FastAPI reads the authorization header, strips the bearer prefix, and hands us the raw token string. No manual header parsing anywhere. When a login request arrives, FastAPI automatically passes the multi-part form body. That is what OAuth2 password request form does for you. Your route verifies the user and returns a plain JSON object with an access_token field. The client stores that token and attaches it as a bearer token on every subsequent request. On protected routes, OAuth2 scheme runs as a dependency before your function, extracts the token from the header, and passes it in. The key consequence is that Swagger UI reads the token URL and renders a working authorize button. You get interactive auth testing for free. OAuth2 Password Flow is the right choice when you control the client, a mobile app, a desktop tool, or your own single-page app, because those clients can be trusted to handle credentials carefully. It is also great for Swagger UI-driven development. However, if a third-party application needs delegated access to your users, Password Flow is the wrong OAuth2 grant. Use Authorization Code instead. And if you're only doing internal service-to-service calls, the overhead of a login form is unnecessary. A simple API key or client credentials grant is cleaner. To recap, OAuth2 Password Bearer is a single declaration that wires the bearer scheme and tells both FastAPI and Swagger UI where your token endpoint lives. Your token endpoint uses OAuth2 password request form to receive credentials as a form post, and it returns a standard token object. Any protected route then uses depends of your scheme to receive the token automatically, no manual header passing. Remember that this flow is best for clients you own and trust. For third-party delegation, reach for the authorization code flow instead.